Like with all air pumps out there, they need occasional maintenance. Maybe you've received one or you've been using it for quite some time, and for some reason it's not blowing enough bubbles. Give you an example. It should be blowing continuously and strong, but sometimes it's just a little twinkle of bubbles like that, enough maybe to frustrate you. This particular one is not working very well. It's blocked, and I'll show you how to free that blockage. It's a very simple procedure. It needs just a few minutes of your time. We recommend using a medium-sized Phillips screwdriver. First of all, remove the batteries. By the way, if your pump is not running, the motor's not running, but the battery is in, there's a little wheel here, a little spoked wheel. If you just literally run your finger on that, turn the batteries back on again, and chances are it was just stuck and it will immediately free itself. In order to service the unit, the medium-sized Phillips screwdriver, loosen both screws on the top. This will completely remove the motor assembly. Gently pull it out. Be careful about the wires. You don't want to cause any problem with the wires. The wires need to still be connected. Once that is free, use your screwdriver one more time. And what we're doing is getting into the actual pump itself. The motor is an electrical component. That is the electric motor over there. What we're trying to do here is isolate the motor from the pump. And you'll notice when I open this up, this is the key piece. This is the part that does need servicing. Unfortunately, when air gets in here, it brings in dirt, hair, dust, things like that. These are little flapper valves. These little valves basically will open and close on their own accord with the pump, allowing air in or out, and vice versa on the other side. It's very simple to remove this. I recommend a light detergent, a little bit of soap and water, dry it completely, don't damage it, don't tear it, don't rip it. There's a little pin there. That pin is there to help you locate exactly where that needs to go back on. Gently press that on and just reverse exactly what we've done. These to go back together again. Sorry, a lot easier just to remove all the screws completely. There we go. Once it's seated correctly, make sure that this motor itself is seated as well. If that's not seated right, it's not going to work. So that's got to be sitting pretty nice and tight in there, in the middle, not, let me move it out the way maybe, not on the lip there, like that. That would be incorrect. Push it in, it should be nicely seated in. Let's get the screws back in. The key with putting these screws back in is not to over tighten them. You're screwing this all onto rubber, and the whole thing is held together with that rubber and the little silicone seal. Gentle tight, not over tightening. This is a very good time right now. You can actually test it. If you'd like to put the batteries in again, before you reassemble the whole thing, simply turning on the switch. You can see the little motor running. Actually, I can feel with my finger air coming right out of it. But by plugging it in, if you have a look at what's going on over there, you should get a nice flow of air bubbles. Let's switch it off again. This is probably the hardest part coming up right now. Get all the screws out of here. There's a long screw and a short screw, and they've got little washers on them. But get this in those holes and try and wiggle it without folding it. You don't want to fold that or crush that, because that's your air intake. That is where air is going in into the pump and it comes out there. Sometimes just even a little bit of saliva, just lubricate it up just slightly, get it in, push it into place. It sits in very, very easily. The long screw goes on the top, and the short screw with this little washer will go at the bottom. Once you hit the age of 45, glasses are recommended. Also, once again, do not over tighten, otherwise you close everything up inside and it makes it a little bit more difficult for everything to operate. Just cinch it down, take up the slack. The air intake should be completely free and sticking up like that, approximately the same height as the outlet. Without putting the whole thing back together again, we should check it one more time. Turn the switch on one way, you get your air bubbles. Put it on high speed, you should get more air bubbles. And that's it. It's a very simple, literally 2 or 3 minute fix. Finished by putting the whole thing together, and you're ready to go fishing.
There you go.